First of all, I just want to say it's a real pleasure to be here. And Carlos and Steve, I wish you were here with us in person, but I'm glad to be sharing a panel with such prestigious individuals. And just want to share a few thoughts from the Greenpeace perspective. I mean, you mentioned it, we are in a climate emergency. Children born today are going to be facing unprecedented heat waves and droughts, rainfall, storms, and floods in their lifetimes, many times more frequent, more intense than what we experience right now. And this has a huge influence on the health and the significance of the health for natural ecosystems and for food production. And you just had to listen to the strikers in the streets today to know what's at stake for them. And we're in this very dangerous predicament where we are breaching the safe operating space for life on Earth. And deforestation for commodities contributes to all 4 of the planetary boundary offshoots. So we need to protect what protects us. Halting the destruction of natural ecosystems and the expansion of agriculture, protecting and restoring nature obviously are critical, as we have heard. And indigenous peoples and local communities all through the tropics are battling for their rights and their survival. But also in the north, Sami communities in Sweden, and commodity production is a major cause. It's a land grab with hostile law and regulation changes. As we've heard, the food system is responsible for about 80% of deforestation, with livestock and animal feed expansion most prominent, 50 million hectares of forest loss for commodity production in the last 10 years. Just stunning. And so one piece of the transformation is really about less meat and dairy means less heat and climate change, deforestation and biodiversity loss, and better water quality and human health. And global meat and dairy production and consumption has to be cut by half by 2050. You hear these other long-term goals. This is a key one for this transformation. We think we don't need, actually, any more non-binding declarations and fake pledges. But we need action. We need finance, we need monitoring, and we need enforcement. And these Glasgow forest deals, they give the impression of progress and ambition, but past experience, we know, has shown that we can't trust them. And it only took one day for Indonesia to backpedal and say, they're not going to be stopping deforestation. So we need to shift the trillions of dollars per year out of the fossil fuels and perverse agricultural subsidies into the protection and restoration of nature. And polluters need to pay for their ecological debt. And we have to address carbon offsets. Offset projects, they're distorting landscapes and rights and livelihoods. They take land needed for food. They unjustly transfer addressing global north pollution to landscapes in the global south. They distort land tenure and often fail to respect rights. They treat nature as a commodity, and tree planting is often in monocultures. This has been going on since as long as I've been in this debate, from Kyoto until today, documented in the literature, investigations demonstrating this. It just hasn't changed. And so carbon offsets really, they're not only a scam, but they threaten food security. If tree planting to offset fossil fuel pollution is used, food prices could raise by 80% by 2050, according to Oxfam this year. And massive areas of land are going to be needed. For example, the plans of 4 major oil companies, Shell, BP, Total, Eni, they would require an area twice the size of the United Kingdom for just their offsetting plans. What do we need? We need action for transformation. We need protection, restoration, and reforestation, but no offsetting for credits, no plantation planting for offsets. Nature carbon removal is additional, not instead of stopping fossil fuel carbon emissions. We're in a climate emergency. We need annual reduction rates of 7%. And offsetting can blow that out of the water. We need less meat, less heat, reducing meat and dairy by half globally and replacing with crops focused on food and not biofuels or energy crops. Billions of dollars and euros for protection and restoration of nature via a rights-based approach and benefits to local communities, monitoring and multi-stakeholder mechanisms for delivering it. And commodity systems need radical transparency. We've heard some of the tools that are out there, but in monitoring and traceability, reporting, and verification of progress. And finally, we need, in this action for transformation, ecological farming and forestry, healthy for the planet and for people. Zero gross deforestation, such as via the HCS approach, and no natural ecosystem conversion for commodities. A focus on products and ecosystem services from the forest. And a rights-based integrated landscape management approaches that put indigenous peoples and local communities at the center and recognize them as the guardians of the forest that they are. So that's what I would do for a transformation, and I think that's the challenge that we have today, that we have to meet with all of our minds, hearts, feet, head together. Thank you very much.